Hello and welcome to Quote Machine's tutorial on how to make quotes. To start making a new quote, go to the quote section here in the menu and then click the blue new quote button. Here we have two options, which is to either create an entirely new customer or to use an existing customer. For now, we'll go ahead and choose an existing customer. After selecting my customer, the quote interface opens. You see things such as the project names, we see our custom fields down here, and we see the customer's info. Important to know is that all of these things are still changeable. For example, if you see something's wrong in the customer's billing or shipping details, you can still change it in Quote Machine on the spot. Then the pricing table down here is where we start building our actual quote. When I click that Add a Product or Service button, all of the products that came from my Lightspeed Ecom catalog show up. If for some reason you have to create an entirely new product that's not in your catalog yet, you can do so by clicking the Quick Create button. This will allow you to create a new product on the spot. However, for now, I'll just go ahead and choose some existing products. Per line item, there's different things that we can do. All of the info, such as the name and the price, is pulled from Lightspeed, but we can change it on the spot if we want to. For example, if I want to change the price of this bag from 59 euros to 40 euros, I can. Or if I want to change the name of this product because it's a little long, I can do that as well. Important to know is that all the changes that you make here are only for this particular quote. This means that the products won't be changed in your actual catalog. Then it could be that you want to give some discount on the entire quote or on just a certain product. If I use the discount button on a line item here, I would give a discount on that particular item. For example, I can give a 20% discount on this bag, and then once I preview my quote, as how the customer would see it, you see that they would actually see the old price with the discount and then the new price. Or if I want to give a discount on the entire quote instead, I would use the global discount button down here. You can choose to either have it in euros, in this case, in units, or a percentage. In this case, I will go ahead with a 10% discount on the entire quote. And then when you look down here, you see that it actually shows. You see the discount here and then $129.99, and that it changed the total of the quote as well. Then we have our interactive options here. For example, if my customer is hesitating between certain products, in this case, for example, they're hesitating between these two bags, then you can make them optional. If you make an item optional, it means that customers can choose themselves to include it in the quote or not. So let's say I preview my quote here. I made that one item optional. You see here, they can either choose to include it in the quote or not. With that, we have some other interactive options as well. For example, multiple choice. That means you can make these two bags multiple choice and your customer could choose one of them. If you mark something as included, it means that you basically give it for free and the price will disappear on the quote as well. Or we have the editable quantity, which means that if you were to make the quantity editable, then here the customer could choose themselves how many, in this case, how many bags they would want. Then for people that send out quotes with a lot of different things on them, we have the group function, which will allow you to organize your quote a little bit. As you see, I have some bags and some furniture on my quote. So I will now add two groups, which one of them will be called bags and the other one will be called furniture. And now that I made these two groups, I can start dragging the items into their respective groups. And now when I hit preview, I see what it would look like on the actual quote. So when I scroll down, As you see here now, it shows a little header with the group name, in this case bags, and then it shows all my bags. And then here it has furniture, and it would list all of my furniture as well as the group total of the items. Down here, we have our deposit fees, discounts, and taxes that we can still change as well. For all of these, you can set a default value, but as with almost everything else, you can change it on your individual document. So in this case, my default deposit is 100%. I can change it to 50% as you want to. You see down here that it changed. And the same goes for fees. Fees, you can add shipping fees, credit card fees, any type of fees that you would like. Taxes, if for some reason you accidentally had the wrong tax, for example, it should actually be 6%, then you can still change that as well. And then lastly, we have the design. We have our document templates already set up here under sales tools, but it could be that you want to change something in the design for this particular customer. To do so, you would click the edit design button down here. As you see now, I'm able to change most of the things in my quote. I can, for example, down here, change the entire template that I'm using. Let's say I want the furniture template instead of the flower and nursery template. Or I can just tweak the template that I'm using now by simply adding content or move things up or down in the quote. This is everything that we can add or that you can add in a quote. So we have titles, text, images, videos, our custom forms, files, and customer account statements. So you can make it as crazy or as simple as you want. Important to know is that anything you change here on the individual quote template will only be changed for this quote. It will not change anything in the actual template for future quotes. And then once I'm done editing, I'll go ahead and click close edit mode and start sending out my quote to my customer. As far as finalizing the quote, there's 3 options. We can mark it as done, text it, or email it. Marking it as done will finalize the quote but send nothing to your customer. When you text it, the customer will simply receive a text with a link to the quote. And lastly, you can email it. For now, I will go ahead and email my quote to my customer. As you can see, this is all preset, but of course, you can change it on the spot. Same goes for the email addresses. You can add copies, blind copies. You can add 2 email addresses here. This is the body. This is just my email. And of course, I can change that to anything I want as well. So when I go ahead and click send now, we now see that the status of my quote was changed to proposed. And here we see that a deposit of 100% in this case is required. When I scroll down and look here under emails, I can also preview the email that I sent to my customer. So in this case, I had changed the email to this, and then here it has the open quote button, and if they would click on it, it would open the quote. So as far as the deposit, instead of a partial deposit, some people immediately take 100% payment on a quote. Quote Machine now offers the feature to automatically convert a 100% paid quote to a fully paid invoice, which will then automatically export to Lightspeed Ecom as a ready for shipment order. If you do take partial deposits, you will have to apply that partial deposit manually to an invoice later. Now, if I open the quote here, this is what my customer would actually see. They see the quote, they see the items that I've added, the subtotal, the discount that I gave them. So if I'm the customer and I'm happy with this quote, I would go ahead and accept it here. It tells me that I have to sign it. And then here I can go ahead and pay with my credit card. As you've noticed, I require a 100% deposit on this quote. So now my customer will pay the full amount. As you see now, the customer will get an online payment receipt. They see when and how they've paid. And now once I refresh the quote, I see that Quote Machine automatically has invoiced my quote. When we scroll down, I see that invoice 52 has been created from this quote. And when I click on it, I am being directed to a fully paid invoice that now has been exported to Lightspeed Ecom as a completed order. When I open the order in Lightspeed, I see all of the products that I've added, the cost, and my customer's info.